So I discovered something really cool about how to make a shimmer. Yeah, a shimmer. Those of you who got the really cool reverb pedals like the Strymons and whatnot, that's a really cool little effect that's added on to an effect that I really like. But I discovered on how to create it on my system that I have. It's really awesome. Let's take a look. So I found a really cool way how to make a really cool shimmer effect on my system. Now let me tell you what I have. I have Kemper Profiler, and I have the Fractal FX8 Mark II for my effects. And I also use that to control the Kemper via MIDI. On the Fractal, they have all kinds of really cool effects, and the Kemper in itself also has some really cool effects on there. So I've got kind of the best of both worlds. Came up with this really cool shimmer effect that you've got to see. Here's how I got it. So first we're going to start out on the Kemper. On the Kemper, I'm using the Vox Night Train amplifier profile. It's one of my favorites. I've shown that already in a previous video. So I'm just using that, although it doesn't really matter the amp. I would say something clean or just something that's got crunchy. I don't know how metal would sound with it. It might be interesting to see how that sounds. I'm going to use on my guitar the single coil part of my pickup on the PRS. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to check out one of their awesome reverbs. And here's one that I really like. This one is called the Reverb Strings. I really like this reverb. It's got a really good feel to it. And what I did is I just made it just a very wet signal. Took out the direct. A lot of us have done this before. And here's what I get. That in itself has almost got this like shimmery effect to it as well. Really cool, and it trails nicely. So that's all I'm using. That's what the Kemper is doing. Now, here's where the magic really happens. So on the Fractal, they have what's called a multi-delay effect. Very similar to like how a reverb would operate, except what it does is just the way the name implies, it's a multi-delay pedal. Many of you may already have something like this. If you don't, check them out. They're pretty cool. So what this does on my Fractal, which a lot of units do, Kemper actually has something very similar to this as well, is it will put 4 different delays. So there's the quarter, there's the eighth, there's the dotted eighth, and the dotted quarter. At least that's how I've got mine set up. On my Fractal, I'm using specifically what's called a plex shift. And there's a reason I'm going to tell you in a minute. This is what it sounds like. I took the reverb out. This is just the multi-delay. Pretty cool, kind of very reverby sounding. So now here's that plex shift multi-delay mixed in with the reverb that I played earlier. That sounds really cool, and you could probably use that in a lot of different settings. But now I'm just going to get one better. On this plexi shift option that this multi-delay plugin has for the Fractal, what you can do on it is you also look at each of the delays. The quarter, the eighth, the dotted quarter. And what you can do on it is you just change the pitch. It doesn't really matter which ones. I found out that it doesn't really matter which order, so you can pick the dotted eighth, pick the quarter, whatever you want to do. You set one of them at an octave higher, another one at 2 octaves higher, another one an octave lower, and then another one an octave lower than that. So we're octave up, 2 octaves up, octave down, 2 octaves down, and mixing that with the direct signal into the Fractal. Now mind you, we're still going to keep the wet signal on the reverb that I have on the Kemper. So now, here's how that sounds with that wet reverb that I showed you. Enjoy. church pipe organ mixed in with maybe a quartet, because I can hear cellos in there, I hear violins in there, and I definitely hear the big church organ effect. There you go. There's my little tip for the day. If you just subscribe to the channel, if you like what you see, leave a comment below on what your experiences are. I am sure many of you already know about all this stuff. I would sure love to hear about how you do it, and maybe offer some tips that I need to learn. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.